Good morning. I think it's getting to be haircut time. So it is incredibly uncertain times out there. Every time I talk to other attorneys and I talk to clients, what I hear about all the time is how amazingly uncertain everything is right now. So what can you deliver? First of all, when times are uncertain, when we're having this much disruption, what's really going on? Well, there's a tremendous amount of opportunity. Whenever things are getting completely turned upside down, which is what's going on right now, that creates great opportunity for something new. This is when, the cream rises to the crop, and those that survive when they get through this are going to be able to just thrive beyond belief. So what is it that people really want when they're in this type of situation? Well, when we have too much certainty, we get bored. When we have too much uncertainty, we freak out. So when there's this much uncertainty, what is everybody looking for? They're looking for certainty. They're looking for leadership. Remember, if you're that steadfast hull that's going through the storm, you're what everybody's going to cling to on the ship. They're going to cling to the steadiest thing in the middle of the storm. And that's really what's going on right now. If you want to be successful, remember, we don't find success, we attract it. And we attract it with energy, we attract it with the vibrations that we put out, as Abram Hicks talks about. We attract it through our vision and our purpose and our certainty. And let's remember, certainty is a physiology. It's a mental state that's created by a physiology. Remember when we talked about the Ann Coulter things, where the Superman stance and the Wonder Woman stance, and the power of all of those things? They have a tremendous power to create a feeling of certainty in your life as to where you're headed. Matt Damon, I was watching something last night briefly as I think we flipped away from the World Series before I fell asleep. And, do you know Matt Damon's story? So he and Ben Affleck met each other when they were 10. They grew up in the same neighborhood. He goes to Harvard and he's studying English. He's 12 credits shy and he drops out. I'm sure his parents were very happy. Heads to Hollywood. He gets some minor roles. He's in Mystic Pizza. He's a lawyer in some case. But then he writes this screenplay. He and Ben Affleck write the screenplay Good Will Hunting. And they were starving. I mean, they didn't have any money. They were, essentially living in their car. And they got offered money for the script, but they wanted to be in it. They wanted to star in it, and Matt Damon wanted to direct. Well, of course, all of the movie studios were like, yeah, we're not going to do that. And they remembered Rocky's story. They knew that story, and they stuck to their guns. And they said, we're not going to give up this script unless we get to do it. And they really had gotten to the point where they weren't sure they were going to be able to stick around. They thought they were going to have to go home. It's a common story in Hollywood when they really all of a sudden feel like, their back is against the wall. That's when they make it happen. That's when that urgency gets created. Napoleon Hill talks about how many, and he always says men because of the time when he wrote the book, many men aren't successful until they're in their 50s. And some of that is experience, some of that is time. You're not raising the kids so much anymore. And some of that is just they get to that age and go, holy crap, if I'm going to do this, I better do it. So it creates an urgency. So Robin Williams read the script and met Matt. And his manager and agent did not want him to do the film. But before, I think it's Miramax that ended up making the movie, before them and Ben Affleck and Matt Damon had gotten into the conversation about who was supposed to star, Robin had read it and he had met them. He was so taken by how certain they were about the likelihood of success of this film that he agreed to do it even with them directing and with making very little money. The reason that movie got made is because of Robin Williams. Robin Williams came in and said, I'll play in this movie. And because he came in, then they got some really great supporting actors. The guy that plays the professor that Matt Damon is being taught by, Robin Williams' friend, and kind of the conflict between the two of them. The guy that plays the law professor, those are two main characters in the movie. Those people came on board because Robin Williams said that he was going to do this. Robin Williams said that he was going to do this because he met this young kid, Matt Damon, who was he was in his 20s maybe at the time, early 20s. And he was so taken by his certainty that this was going to work out that he decided, I'm going to give this kid a shot and I'm going to make this movie. Well, the rest is history. The movie won the Academy Award. Matt Damon won the Academy Award, and his career was off and running. And it was the first time Robin Williams had played a really serious role in a long time where he was a main character in the movie. And he agreed to let Matt Damon direct him, which is also amazing. The reason that happened was because of Damon's certainty. Damon knew that what he had was something that was going to work. And even though his back was against the wall, and even though he was facing all the odds and doing all those things, that's what makes it a great story. That's what makes it so that we're still talking. And that's what makes it so they had that drive to do what was necessary to have it be that successful. So in this time of complete chaos, which is what we're dealing with right now, certainty is what will win the day. Those that are certain about the outcomes that they're going to create are the ones that are going to rise to the top. And when we get through all this, and we will, when we get through all this, they'll be the ones that are at the top of the mountain. And the people that are with them, that followed them, will be glad that they did. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Diana. Good morning, Amanda. Tammy, great to see you. My Uncle Bill and Miranda, you guys are up. It's a rainy, cold, gloomy Thursday here in Northern Illinois. Diana is out on the West Coast, so she has a much different view. Have a great day, everybody. We're all in this together. Let's take care of each other.